Mother is an actress, and
So
he
he's
finds
used.
himself backstage at this, you know, at all sorts of events with actors and filmmakers and theater directors. His mother does a lot of theater.
Yeah, but that's even more annoying then, because I remember when my son was a small one. He always said, "Oh, they're only talking about cinema. They're always talking about cinema."
And the actors only talk about themselves. Kidding. You're an actress, or former actor?
I was one, yeah.
Once
but I stopped in the moment I did my first film as a director.
Why does that happen, do you think? Why do some people, some actors, maybe they're meant to be directors?
No, sometimes they like to be both, but for me it was always my wish to become a director, and to be an actress was only a way to get up to that. And in the moment I had the possibility to do my first film as a director, I stopped immediately. I never acted again.
Never looked back. Do you miss it or regret it? Or
no, not at all. I just reached my aim, my goal to be a director, and that was from the beginning when I saw the film of Ingmar Bergman. That was the moment I got that wish. Ooh, Ingmar!
I don't know the name. But wait, so it was intentionally planned as a strategy. Is that what you're saying? Because
it was a strategy, and it was an unconscious strategy, I think. No, because I couldn't, in the beginning of the 60s, for a woman, it was really not even a bad idea. It was just no idea to get the possibility to become a director.
Yeah.
So,
how many were there at the time? Like one or two?
It was just Agnès Varda in France, but for Germany, to think that in Germany, first there was not yet the new German wave that started only in '65, and then for a woman it was really crazy to think that she would have the possibility to. So in a way, unconsciously, I became an actress, and when the German film started to become famous in the world or to do really good films, I entered as an actress, and then slowly, I met Volker Schlondorf, and we married, and I was present for every film he did, and
including Tindrum. That's kind of his.
No, that was already over. When he did Tindrum, I already did my own films.
Oh, okay. So you had already left the marriage, or the marriage had ended by the time Tindrum came out?
Yes.
So because it was late 60s into the 70s.
No, that was in the late 70s.
Oh,
he did Tindrum.
Yeah. No. Right, 79 or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, let me just say, and this is the last I'll talk about myself, because I just want you to know how much the part of my own DNA these films are, in a sense, because I had on Volker did my podcast, and I was so excited to have Volker Schlondorf do my. I'm excited to have you on, Margarethe, but I was very excited to have Volker Schlondorf on my podcast, and he was so sweet with his last project. It was at our film forum, and then I had on Liv Ullmann. Mm-hmm. Liv Ullmann, who did the podcast. Even Agnès Varda did it, but it was more like I was allowing her and JR, Faces Places. They were more or less talking to themselves, and I was recording, slipping in occasional question. They had such a great chemistry. But anyway, so I just say that because it's so great to have you on now.
As a relict of
no
of Volker Schlondorf. No, we married.
I see.
We married in 71. And we divorced in 91, so you can imagine how long we were together and working also together. But
can I ask, is your son, who you mentioned, a product of that relationship?
No.
Okay.
That's of my first husband.
Oh, very good. Okay.
Yeah. Therefore, his name is Moeller.
Is that right?
Moeller.
Is he getting? Is he our Moeller? Is it? No, it's a different one.
He's a documentarist. He did several films, and they were also shown in America.
So we're here today to talk about someone you referenced a few minutes ago. I think you said Ingmar. Is that how you pronounce his name?
Ingmar.
Yeah, Ingmar Bergman, and who you finally made this film, and it's I don't know. It's at once a love letter. It's an overused expression, but it's also, given the title, "Searching for Ingmar Bergman." You're also it's a quest of sorts, right? Is that accurate? Do you think? Because you named it "Searching for Ingmar Bergman."
Yeah, that was the title. You always give the title when the film is already made, so then you search the title, and then it comes up with "Searching for." Because, but it's a good title, and it is the truth about what I did. Because I'm not a documentarist. For me, it was the first time, and I was very, very afraid because he was my master, and I always had the feeling I'm not good enough to do a film about him, no? So, and my son, as a documentarist, he gave me courage, and he said, "You did so many good films, and you are able to." And so he was the one to.
And he worked on it with you.
Yeah.
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 I took from the film, having watched it, that, and it's here at the New York Film Festival, I might add, that we learn more about Ingmar, that his work was his life. His family took a second position. They had to live with that. A father who, and the way it seems like the way he chose to make that work in his head is to cut himself off emotionally to a great degree. He was difficult to be close to.
But I think my theory is, and I say it also in the film, that he was considering himself as a child very, very for
Right.
his all his life. And I discovered is when I read his biography, La Terna Magica, and he's speaking much more there about his childhood, his mother, his father, his grandmother, and very little about his own children and his wives. And he had a lot of wives also. So I thought, maybe, and when you look at his films, when there's a child in the film, he's more or less always identifying himself with a child. And when I told that to Daniel, his son,
younger son,
and he said, "Yes, absolutely, you are right. That's it. He wanted to be the child, and therefore he couldn't care for his own children."
Then you have to ask, was that an intentional thing? I mean, or he would never take... It's a way out of taking responsibility, of course, too. I mean, if one is looking to point the finger or make blame a thing, it's beside the point, though. You look at the body of work, near 100 films. I'm not even sure how many films he made, but I know it's in the film, your film. It plays, and he changed cinema. Was that, at the end of the day, justification? What do you think?
No, but he was so much working. He was so much.
Yeah.
The whole day he was in the theater. In summer he did his films, but he wrote his own films. He wrote every script of his films. And then he wrote also other things, and not only scripts. And until the end of his life, he continued to write. And in a way, he also wanted to be a real writer for theater, as Strindberg or Ibsen was. So he was really. Yeah. I can't even imagine how a human being can work so much as he did, so that there is no place for nothing else.
Is that a justification? Theater. Do you think, though? I'm asking you. Do you think that's? I'm just asking. Is it for the greater good? He made a stamp. He made this huge impression on the world with his cinema. He changed cinema. Is that? Some people are just meant to be that and can't do the other things.
Yes,
they can't.
There's so many artists are like him.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Right.
So many artists are much more in their art than in their families or and they change women all the time. Picasso, look at Picasso, how many wives he had. And that is, I don't know, I won't defend it, but it's in a way, it's a fact for so many artistic men. I think women are not as much, let's say, self-concentrated as artists than men often are.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other hand, when you read the biographies of daughters of very important or famous women like Bette Davis or others. There are always children who are saying they were not very motherful.
Maternal.
How do you say it?
Maternal. Maternal. Yeah.
Maternal. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's definitely sacrifices are made. Correct. Did you have to make sacrifices along the same lines, or was the struggle more for you as a woman, just working in trying to gain a certain amount of control over your career?
Yeah, but it was, for me, it was very, very difficult to get this possibility to become a filmmaker. I had to struggle a lot for that first. Sure. Because nobody wanted me to become. They said, but you're a good actress, why you don't want to stay and you write your scripts together with your husband, and why you won't change that? No, they couldn't understand why I wanted to realize me as a director. Yeah,
you were a very big actor, right? You were a very well-known and successful actor, right?
Yeah.
When did you meet Ingmar Bergman the first time? Do you remember that meeting?
I met him in Munich during he was in Munich as a day. He came up to our house and to our apartment and was very, very friendly, very open. That was, but I knew I knew his films. He knew me as an actress already before, and but I then the main meeting, let's say, or the main moment when we saw each other, spoke with each other. That was in a jury when he was jury president, and I was a member. And there he said to me that he liked so much my film Marion and Julian, and that he was very depressed when he saw it, and he wanted to stop making films, and my film gave him the courage to go on, and so, and therefore, and also my other films which I did before, and he liked my filmmaking, and therefore he put also this film, Marion and Julian, in his list of his favorite films.
Wow.
Now, you saw the film.
Yes.
So you saw the list of all these old, wonderful giants, cinema giants. They are on the list, and I'm the only woman, and the youngest one. Now I'm the oldest, and I'm the only one who is still alive. No.
Wow. Yeah.
And that was for me very surprising that he put me. I was very fond of the fact that he told it to me that he liked my film, but I would never have imagined that he put it on a list of his 10 favorite films. That was really something.
Yeah. You're smiling. You still. Why do you smile? Laugh? Because you still wear a certain badge of pride around it?
Yeah, I'm still.
You're still shocked.
Yeah, I'm still in a way, even if I'm really now of an old age, but I'm still in a way his pupil, and I feel that he's always the giant, and I'm the last picture in the film. That's this big rock on Faro, where I'm staying under the rock, and the rock has the form of a face, of a big head, and so I'm standing under this head, and I have the feeling he is the giant and I'm the little one, but he's protecting me
at the same time. At the same time. What do you make of the way people talk about Ingmar Bergman now, or the feelings about Ingmar? He's just icon.
He's an icon, but I was astonished that there are no more so many people knowing him and knowing his films. They know perhaps a name, but they don't remember the films, or the new generation are not so interested.
You think
they think it's too dark.
Well,
and
I don't think
I
think my generation is probably the last generation that really knows.
Yes,
I'm in my 50s, so I do know.
Yeah, that may be, and for me to make this film was also to make him alive again. And when you see my films, so many people now saw the film, and when they saw it in Germany or in France already, they said, "Oh, now we would like to see all his films again," and that is for me a triumph. That I wanted to realize that the people have the wish to see all his films again.
Well, they have the opportunity is becoming ripe because I know that with the 100th year since of his birth, which just happened the other day, essentially in September was the 100th. He would have been 100.
No, in July, the 14th of July.
That's what I said.
Was his 100th birthday.
No, I'm kidding. I just don't like. I just won't recognize my mistakes. It gets edited later. No, this past July, or is it next July? Next July, when 100th birthday?
No, that was this year.
It was okay.
This year in July.
Okay, and so Criterion is as many fans of his work already know, is about to or shortly going to release a new
coverage with all his films.
Incredible. I mean, the idea of that is it's astounding.
It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
What was I going to ask you about? I mentioned before I had Liv Ullmann on the podcast some years ago. She had made a documentary as well as you. And Liv, by the way, is in your film. You two sit and talk.
Yes.
Did you have her for a day or something? Did she give you a day? But you know each other.
We knew each other. She gave me the award in Venice.
Okay. So
that was in 1981.
Yeah.
So we knew each other, and she knew my films, and I knew her films. Sure, she did also films as a director, not only as an actress. So I was always
you were first.
Admiring her.
Were you first?
Her,
Were you first as a director?
I was first as a director, but
you helped her then.
But she remained an actress, and that was the difference with me. That in the moment I did my first films, I stopped acting, and she went on, and mainly women who were actresses before, and then they stay with their acting also.
Right.
And we stood with her for a whole day in her house, her apartment in Oslo. So that was also a nice gesture of her that she let us in to her apartment. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Did you see her film years ago? Leaving Liv? Was it Leaving Ingmar? Was that what it's called?
Yeah, Liv and Ingmar, sure.
Yeah. Did you see that? That was a beautiful film too.
Very beautiful.
I mean, that was an eye opener. I didn't realize that he was quite so threatened by.
No, when I saw the film, that was just the year I did Hannah Arendt, and in one cinema.
Right, that was, by the way, terrific.
Yeah,
Hannah Arendt, Hannah Arendt. I should have mentioned that already.
Yeah,
that got a lot of awards. That film.
Yes, I know. Yeah, but
you do know.
I know.
Yeah.
No, but what I wanted to say
Please.
that when it started in Paris, and there was one cinema, there was the poster. Outside, and there was one poster of Liv and Ingmar, and underneath it was my poster for Hannah Arendt. And in this moment, I didn't know yet that I will make a film about Ingmar.
No, of course.
But I was so fond of this being together with him.
Yeah.
On this
on the same marquee.
Yeah.
That's funny. Good timing, right? So when did you decide to make a film about Ingmar, or this film?
I decided for nothing. That was a producer they came up to me, and they had the idea to make a film for the 100th birthday, and I said, no, don't ask me. It's not possible, and I'm fearing too much, and I'm too anxious, and I couldn't do that, and I'm not a filmmaker for documentaries. I never did a documentary, and so on. I tried to get rid of this, but then they insisted so much, and in a certain way, or I also owe him something because it was him that he'd made me in a certain way a director. So when they insisted, and also the Swedish people insisted that I might be the one to do the film. So
they were right.
And I gave up my
and a good thing. I think you gave a very once subjective film, but at the same time non-judgmental. I appreciated that.
Yeah. No, I'm not a critic.
It would be easy
I'm not
to
a journalist. It's easy to criticize him, but that is nothing. Why I have to. I admire him, and perhaps I know him now a little bit better. Therefore, the title "Searching For," but I would never dare to give a negative. How do you say negative statement?
Yeah. Well, we mentioned Liv is in the film as a talking head or as one of the subjects of the film, and we mentioned his son Daniel. Daniel Bergman is in it. And he's very honest. And again, I don't see it even as judgmental. I just see him as being honest. This is,
honest, yes.
Yeah, and his other son, Ingmar Jr.
The little Ingmar. Called, little Ingmar.
Is that right? Is he the younger son then, or is he, Daniel and him?
No, Daniel is younger than
Ingmar is younger than his father.
Yeah, only because he has the same name. They tell him the little Ingmar.
Yeah. Who else is in the film? Who else did you talk to? Who else? What other people did you talk to in the film?
I talked to Olivier Assayas.
Olivier
Assayas. French.
He did this podcast too. Sorry. Can't help it. I'm so happy.
What did he?
Oh, he was on this. He also I talked to him.
Oh yes. He's fantastic.
Yeah.
He's wonderful, and he met Ingmar Bergman together with Stig Björkman, who's also in the film, who's a director and also a writer and a critic, and they both went to interview Ingmar in 1990 for 5 days. So they really had a long conversation. And it was done for Cahiers du Cinéma in the time.
Okay. Yeah.
But it was also a book came out for this.
Oh, like a
and
transcript?
I read it before. Yes, I read it before I spoke with him.
Sure. Well, you want to be prepared.
I was really prepared, like a real journalist.
See, you are. You can make. Well, again, the name of the film is "Searching for Ingmar Bergman," directed by Margarethe von Trotta, and it's currently at the New York Film Festival. By the time people hear this, it will be after the fact, I'm sure. So, but the good news is it's having a New York theatrical on November 2nd.
Release, yes.
Yeah, which is fantastic. It may be on the marquee with something Liv Ullmann does again. You never know.
That would be great.
And for sure, yeah. You mentioned that this was, in a way, the title kind of refers to your own figuring out where maybe your feelings and who Ingmar was for you in your life. Is there anything you learned maybe came as a surprise, or anything maybe that you discovered from making the film?
No, I discovered that his films, you could feel it already seeing the films, perhaps inconsciently. You understood that it had so many to do with his own life. But now, looking at all his films and seeing also his interviews and speaking with others, I understood that all his films are in a way also autobiographical or biographical. It's like a album of photographs, and when you look through his films, you can always understand where he is situated in his own life.
And what did his sons feel about having seen? Did they? I assume they saw your film. You showed it to them, right? Daniel and little Ingmar?
Yeah, Daniel was not so fond of the film because he wanted me to speak much more about myself. And not so much, and that I couldn't understand because I think I'm a lot in the film, and I was already in the beginning. I said I can't put myself in the film. That is a little bit like how do you say?
Taking away from.
Yes, but then. It was perhaps the right way, but more of myself. Then I would have used him to speak about myself, and that was for me. It was not right. The little Ingmar, he was very fond of the film, and also all the others who are I have seen the film, who are in the film, like Katinka Farago, the ex script girl, and she became a producer then afterwards, and she was very fond of the film too. Yeah.
Last question: what would you want people to take away from about Ingmar Bergman coming out?
I hope they will see the film again. That was my. That would be really a big satisfaction for me.
Yeah.
Then I did a good work. If I make him come again and back to the cinemas with his films.
And tell kids like that, go see Ingmar Bergman. He's got forget it. he's got a cold. I apologize. Jacob, please, son. I'm embarrassed now. He's this really great kid.
No.
Yes, I promise.
You heard the name of Ingmar Bergman in your life already? Before?
Ingmar Bergman? Do you know the name? Yeah. It's not possible.
How old is he?
He's 14. Yeah. Yeah. But he's, like I say, he'll know. He'll discover him. I was lucky enough, my parents introduced me to Ingmar Bergman. They loved him.
Yeah.
Like, they would play his films like Scenes from a Marriage or Persona or something like that on PBS, public television.
Yeah, I remember I saw the Scenes of a Marriage for the first time. I saw it just in New York, and when I came out of the film, still in the cinema, it was a woman who spoke with me. What do you think? And
she knew who you were.
Immediately.
Did she know who you were?
No,
okay,
no,
right. I didn't think so. But.
No,
okay.
That was just, I was a spectator. She was a spectator, and she was so much emotionalized that she wanted to speak with somebody. And that is very nice in America. People are immediately talking to you.
Right.
After in Germany, no, you have to know the person with whom you are speaking. No.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. That is a very typical American.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, Gary Springer is giving me the sign, so he's standing behind you. Thank you, Margarethe, very much. I wish you so much luck tonight at the New York Film Festival and with the theatrical.
With the film then, yes, and release afterwards. That would be great.
And you'll come back on with your next film. I hope. Thank you.